Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I am standing here in my rental cabin in Lake Guntersville, northern Alabama. It is hot out, guys. It is sticky out for sure. But one of the things because of that, on a lake like Lake Guntersville, is you've got really good shallow water fishing year round because of the fact it's full of grass. Emergent, submergent, it pretty much has every type of grass you could imagine. And that results in some fantastic frog fishing. Specifically, I want to talk about hollow belly frogs and what are some of my favorite hollow belly frogs to use on a lake like Lake Guntersville, and kind of walk you through why I like each of these. And I do want to remind you guys though, before I get into the specifics, if you're looking for more content, check out my membership. You can click the join button on my YouTube homepage if you're using your desktop computer. If you're using a mobile computer, you got to go through the YouTube app and you can click the membership button. Find out all the information there, but I do a bunch of additional content and live streams each month. So check that out if you're looking for more. Also, guys, if you're looking to purchase some tackle and want to support the channel, please use the affiliate Tackle Warehouse link that I provide in the video description. It's a great way to help support the channel and show me that you're enjoying the content that I'm providing. All right, so here at Lake Guntersville, there's a lot of different types of grass that you're going to be fishing with a frog. You've got your emergent grass like your lily pads and your gator grass. You've also then got topped out milfoil, topped out hydrilla, that type of thing. And then one of my favorites to fish are the chopped up grasses that form mats along the bank. So a lot of times you get eelgrass mats here, and you get pieces of milfoil and hydrilla that break off and float to the surface and then form mats based on where the wind blows it or the current takes it. And those are some very, very high percentage places to fish with a frog. But I want to tell you about each of these frogs and where I like to fish them and how I like to fish them, because they're all a little bit different. So we're going to start off with the basic one. Probably one of the first frogs out there that has really dominated the frog market, which is just the Spro Bronzer. This is a 65. Really good hollow belly frog. This is one of my favorite colors. It's the killer bluegill color. Really natural. It could be a bluegill, it could be a shad. Really good bait. This is probably the best all-around frog that you can throw. That's just, it really is probably the best bang for your buck, meaning it works great. It's been proven, and they're more durable. They hold up really well, especially if you're in the North Country and you've got northern pike or pickerel around that can slash these things up fast. The Spro is a little bit more durable. So if I'm fishing up north or I'm just looking for a good consistent frog, this is one of the better ones. It's also a really weedless frog, which is good for beginners. And you guys know that a frog, in my opinion, is one of the best baits that you can give to a beginner because they are so weedless. You can throw this thing up into the bank, up into the trees, and you can get it back. So the Spro is definitely one that you need to have. But from there, we kind of move into a few that are a little bit more technique specific. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Tekkel Sprinker. So this is a hollow belly frog, but instead of having the normal skirt tail, it's got a boot tail kicker. So what this does is it allows you to fish this hollow belly frog much more like a buzzbait. So if I'm looking to cover water and I've got a lot of scattered floating grass mats or a lot of lily pads, things that are on the surface with a bunch of openings in between, and I'm trying to cover water to really find where the fish are at or cover as many of these small holes as possible, the Tekkel Sprinker frog is a great one to do that because it allows me to fish it as if it was a buzzbait or like a horny toad, a buzz toad, which is really, really good because I can also stop this in the holes and let it float as if it's a hollow belly frog. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, but it's really weedless, whereas a buzzbait would always continuously get caught up in the floating grass pieces and just wouldn't work as well. So that's a frog that I really, really like as a search bait. Next up, I've got an old school favorite that I really like. This is the scum frog, tournament frog. This frog, the scum frog, was, in my opinion, like one of the first true hollow belly frogs. Probably this and the snag proof frog are like the first two, but this is kind of their high-end frog that works really good if you've got fish that are found in like holes and stuff, and you want to throw this in that hole and just let it sit there and twitch. It's got really good skirt material that spread out on the water. And to me, it's one of the best frogs in terms of hookups because it is so super soft. The body is super, super soft. The problem with it, because it is super soft, is if I'm fishing really thick cover, say, you know, a thick milfoil mat or a hydrilla mat, or lots of lily pads that aren't necessarily laying flat on the water, I find that this gets caught a little bit more. So it's got great hookups from a bass perspective, but you also spend more time. If it lands upside down, you're gonna get stuck and buried, and that cast is gonna be lost. But it's still a frog that works great, and it's really good at generating bites in small areas. The next frog, which is one of my favorites as well, is the Jackal Gavacho frog. I think I'm saying it right, Gavacho. They have some of the most realistic colors, and they've also got a skirt pattern that's a little bit different with the wings and then the middle tail. And what that does is it walks really well. So it's also a hybrid in that it's got a popper mouth, but it's got a longer, skinnier body, so it walks extremely well. So if I'm looking to really try to walk the dog and get it to spit a little bit more like a popper, this is a really good bait to do that. I also find that the skirt material, having that, it's got 3 separate areas of skirt material, creates a little bit more of that like bird look or dragonfly look in the water that at times can be really good at generating bites. But this frog, it's a little bit more high end, a little bit more pricey, but the hooks on it are extremely sharp. It's very durable as well. It's got a thicker material similar to the Spro frog. So the hookups are not super great on it compared to some of the other frogs, but again, you generate a lot of bites because of the realistic look and the ability to walk the dog better through floating grass and grass mats than other baits. A little tip with this, I do like to turn the hooks up a little bit. I like to bend them up to increase the hookup percentage. The last one, and one that's quickly becoming one of my favorites, and I've got it rigged up right now, is the Depths Buster K. And this frog is kind of a really good mix of everything. It's a really soft body material, so the hookups are really good on it. It's one of the softer bodies out there, and it's got a really good popper mouth on it. So it really creates more of like that pop-ar sound, like a little bubble on the water versus spitting water, which is something that I think at times, especially when the fish are feeding on bluegills, can be a really, really good triggering factor. The last thing that's a little different, and this one's been used so you can see it, but it's got, I think it's rabbit hair. It's some sort of fur material, and the fur material looks much more natural in my opinion than say your normal skirt material. So at times I really, really like to go with this. But guys, these are the frogs that I think you guys should be using. They're all kind of situational in my opinion. They've all got really good times where they shine. And you know, not all frogs are the same by any means. You definitely want to use the right frog for the right situation. So I hope this was helpful. It's definitely helped increase the number of frog bites that I get, but it's getting to become a technique that has a ton of different choices. You know, probably 6-7 years ago, there were like 3 brands of frogs. Now most companies have them. So it's good to know the differences. And these are the ones that are my go-to. I've got a pile. Here's my frog box. I got a pile of all of them in the boat ready to go at all times. So thanks for watching, guys. Grab a frog, get out there, especially if you got some kids. It's a great bait to let them throw, and the blow-ups will get them hooked on fishing. So give it a try, guys, if you're not throwing a frog. Thanks for watching. If it was helpful, hit the like button, share it on your social media pages, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. So stay tuned. We got another video coming out tomorrow.